It's coming home. How I would book the first WWE Premium Live event in the United Kingdom for over 30 years is your video today here on SCW. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave in the comments in the comments section. Please like and share the video as well. This past Tuesday, WWE announced this show will be taking place at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. This stadium holds nearly 74,000 fans and over 59,000 have already put their name forward to get tickets for when they are released. That was within the first 24 hours of this coming out as news. Fingers crossed that this is going to be the first of many occasions that WWE does big events over in the United Kingdom. But of course, it's already led to much speculation. Who will be appearing on the show? What will be the name of the show? Are we going to go back to old favourites like Insurrection, Capital Carnage? Are we going to go with what the September event for WWE was last year, which of course was Extreme Rules? Would we have to say like a crown jewel that's moved to the UK, known with the royalty and stuff like that? Or will we get the very lazy Super Showdown? You never know. We might even get a completely new name, something like a British Bedlam or something like that. If it was my choice, I would go with Capital Carnage, but predicting, I reckon WWE will probably go the lazy route. I reckon it'll be Super Showdown. But hey, this is my video, this is my fantasy booking, so for me, it's Capital Carnage, and what you need to know about this video, it has been recorded a couple of days after the big announcement of this show going ahead for September 3rd later this year. We are currently on Friday the 15th of April, so much can change between now and then. Champions can change, storylines can change, people could perhaps leave the company, so you are pre-warned of a lot of things that could happen. But I've gone with a lot of nostalgic things that have happened in previous UK events, trying to add that flavour into the show. I've tried to incorporate some UK talent as well, whether they're on the main roster, perhaps even amongst the likes of NXT, NXT UK, and as well as that, I've tried to put on some big matches of what I think we could be looking at the direction around that time. So without further ado then, every good show needs a kickoff match, so let's start off then with the NXT UK Championship on the line. Ilya Dragunov is the current champion. He will remain champion for me. He is going to go against Monday Night Raw's Finn Balor, because we can get a bit of main roster involved on this. We can get perhaps Ilya Dragunov perhaps on a Monday Night Raw leading towards the show, and we can sort of put some emphasis on NXT UK. Now arguably this could be on the main show just to really hit home of how important NXT UK could be, but I want to give this match as much time as possible, so for that reason I'm going to put it on the placement here. These two have faced off before, if I'm not mistaken it was at Worlds Collide in 2020, so neither are strangers to one another. I think they could put on a hell of a match to kick off the show, really get everyone warmed up for what will be the main show, and of course NXT UK, that is the brand, that is the championship, so I think their champion should go over with a big win over Finn Balor. Personally for me at this particular moment, Finn Balor, he is losing quite a lot on the main roster, so it wouldn't do any more harm to Finn to lose in this occasion, but certainly would be a big match to kick things off. Going into the main show, this was my other potential that I could have put in the kickoff in place of the first match, but I've put it on the main show purely for the Welsh talent that will be involved, the hometown heroes. I am going to have Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews challenge for the WWE Unified Tag Team Championships against the Usos. For me, we've seen these two teams do some unbelievable tag team matches in amongst WWE. We've seen what the Usos can do. For those who follow NXT UK, have seen what Andrews and Webster can do on takeovers previously. So for me personally, I think this would be a fantastic match between these two tag teams. I think we're going to get the crowd majorly invested with what's going on as well. But of course, to pick up a victory, I think the Usos do need to get over. But with a great showcase match as well, I think Webster and Andrews can do a great job here, and I think the fans will be really into this, so I'd be quite excited to see it. You could have as a normal tag team match, you could even throw a gimmick in there if you really want to, perhaps even a ladder match or something like that, but for me I don't think it's needed for this. I think these two teams could do a solid job on their own. Next match I'm going to do for you is Gunther against Sheamus in a tournament final to determine who is the greatest European wrestler, because well, I saw a storyline, I'm borrowing this from WCW back in the late 90s, probably 1998, where a lot of the European wrestlers were going at it. We're coming over into the UK, so I thought this would be quite a fun thing to do, because we're going to have a lot of UK talent showcased. I think Gunther could be the one to come out and say, look, he's being overlooked. The idea of going to the United Kingdom, it's coming home to Europe, and I think that sort of can elevate and spark off that storyline and really get a lot of those sort of superstars dwindling down to make the tournament. I think, you know, Gunther versus Sheamus as a match in itself in the final, I think would be really fun to watch. Two big men slapping meat around. You know what it's going to be like. But for me, I'd have Gunther win this match. And just as a little bit of a fantasy booking real twist on this at the end, I would have him bring back the European Championship. Now, it wouldn't be a recognised championship, but certainly I think it could be fun to say, look, this championship should be what's represented in WWE, not the United States Championship. So you can play off on that gimmick going forward, probably clash between those championships. So that's certainly an idea I think would be quite fun to see, and would give a bit of direction for Gunther in WWE, quite early on into his run. And also, it would give the United States Championship a purpose going forward, especially coming out of WrestleMania where it wasn't even on the show. So then to actually move things on then, let's have the United States Championship match. We're going to have Theory, who is the current champion. He would have won the belt from Finn Balor. He would keep it all the way to this point. He's going to be taking on the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, who has just come off a failed attempt at winning the Unified Championships at SummerSlam, but actually just to go instead, he's going to now try and win the United States Championship. So he's a champion in WWE. That is his goal. That's what he feels his destination is at this point. Of course, Cody will go over, win the United States Championship, and I think then you've got a really fun storyline with Cody, the American Nightmare, United States Champion, against Gunther going into the winter season. Now, I know both run different shows at this point, but the WWE draft would not be far ahead, so hey, we could start putting seeds in for the works of what would be coming in the future of WWE. Next, let's go with the SmackDown Women's Championship. We're going to have champion Ronda Rousey taking on Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks no longer a women's tag team champion at this point. This is just simply to prove who is the best, who is the #1 on SmackDown, because Ronda would have put Charlotte long in the rear view mirror at this point. Sasha Banks, of course, now looking to get back towards the top of the card, and I think these two have fought before the Royal Rumble a few years ago. They had a great match there. I think they can have a great match here as well. Certainly the same I'd be interested in seeing, but of course Ronda Rousey would most likely retain at this point. I think she would keep that championship until she would face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania next year. Speaking of Becky Lynch, how I'd put her into this show? Well, she returned at SummerSlam last year. It seems that she's having a break after WrestleMania already, so perhaps she comes back for SummerSlam with that rematch against Bianca Belair. Maybe here's a stipulation. Who knows what they need to do with that? But of course, Becky Lynch would lose on that occasion. Doudrop would actually earn the #1 contendership. Becky Lynch, though, would manage to find a way to get into this match to make it a triple threat match. I think this match would be a lot of fun. It's great to have Scotland and Ireland involved in it as well. There's so many great UK and Ireland talents that are involved in WWE, so to get so many of them appearing on this show in big matches as well, I think will really hype up the crowd. But yeah, I mean, we haven't really had a lot of the hometowns win the championship matches at this point, and I do feel Bianca Belair will become vulnerable at some stage. For me, though, I'm not sure who is going to win the belt from her. I don't think it should be Becky Lynch, and at this particular moment, I don't think it should be Doudrop either. Perhaps maybe though there could be that moment where you just sort of feel that maybe a title switch would actually really be good for the hometown crowd. But for me, I think it's that big moment once again you kind of have where Doudrop is picked up for the KOD, Bianca Belair picks up the victory that way, and she retains the Raw Women's Championship. That's what I personally would do if I was booking this particular match. Next match I would book would be Riddle versus Randy Orton. That's right, the breakup of RK Bro. I've been speculating about this now for a good 6 months on this channel, but I think I found a path of how we can actually get to the breakup of these two now in WWE with current storylines, because of course the unification of the tag team championships is on the road to it as we speak. I do believe the Usos will become unified tag team champions, perhaps with the help of Roman Reigns as well. This could lead to Randy Orton against Reigns, perhaps at Hell in a Cell, big marquee match there. Roman Reigns would find a way to retain. Perhaps then Riddle is sent to go and get the championship for Money in the Bank, but Roman would retain once again, and perhaps maybe the idea that Randy Orton gets that frustration, perhaps even could be Riddle as well. One of them would turn on the other, but of course it always seems to be the normal path for Randy to turn heel. Would be a good change of direction if Riddle was the one to do it, but for me, I think it's best to play it safe sometimes. Riddle knows how to play a babyface really, really well, so I'd have Randy Orton be the one that would go heel. Perhaps you have your first match at SummerSlam, which Orton probably pick up the victory, and now we've got the chance here where Riddle could get revenge at this show. And of course, Riddle has spent a lot of time fighting in the United Kingdom as well, of course, on wrestling shows, so people are no stranger to seeing him, so I think that'd be quite nice, and to give him that big marquee one-on-one match as well. Now, I said I was going to get nostalgic on this video, video. As we go towards our next match, this really is the definition of nostalgia. Who remembers the VHS that was released back in the day? Most of you actually probably won't, because you're probably too young for it. But the Battle Royale at the Royal Albert Hall, that was a big deal in 1991. And the British Bulldog was the victor on that show, actually eliminating Typhoon last to win that. So I want to do something of a similar path here with a lot of big time wrestlers in a Battle Royale. Perhaps the winner becomes the #1 contender to go against the winner of the main event. Of course, Roman Reigns currently still the WWE Unified Universal Champion. So if you look on the screen right now, look at the host of names that I've put for you in this match. We've got the likes of Seth Rollins in there. Of course, we've got Kevin Owens. We've got AJ Styles. We've got Edge and Damian Priest in there. We've got the likes of the Mysterios, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ridge Holland, of course, from UK Flavor. I wanted to throw Mustache Mountain in there just because I didn't put him in the tag title match earlier. I didn't want so many triple threat matches on the show. You've got Happy Corbin. You've got Madcap Moss, who of course is no stranger to winning Battle Royals, especially the Andre the Giant Battle Royal earlier this year. We've got Omos, of course, who won the Battle Royal Survivor Series last year. We've got the Street Profits, who are probably bringing pizza. The Miz, of course, Ezekiel as well. So lots of names there for you. And of course, the New Day of Kofi and Xavier Woods, along also with the almighty Bobby Lashley. So yeah, just to give it that nostalgic feel, really, and just I think this would be a big time deal. You can actually make the Battle Royal mean something with a reward at the end of it. And of course, as well, we've got so many big names in it as well. You don't have to have sort of just everyone being thrown over the top rope. Actually make it a spectacle, make it one of the best battle royals of all time. As I say, it's got a lineage with the UK market being done before, so I think this could be done really, really well. Who would win it? That's a really good question, because as you're going for a top championship, it would be one of the big names. Personally, for me, I would say Roman Reigns was to keep hold of the championship, or it was to be someone else. I would like to see AJ Styles get another go at the championship, but he isn't going to be the one I'm going to go for to pick up the W in this match. I was very tempted with, because we've got Edge and Damian Priest to go with that stable, sort of, you know, have Edge be the next challenger. But for me, I'm going to go with the popularity heel route of Seth freaking Rollins, because Seth Rollins plays well as a heel, but also is a likable heel as well, where the fans will get on his side. If you would have Seth versus Roman, then, you know, that would actually be a really fun match to see again, especially the fact Seth won by DQ last time. But also, say the babyface, bit of a clue, perhaps you've got a good idea who it's going to be in the main event here. Perhaps the babyface was to pick up the W, then I think that would make a lot of sense then for Seth to go for him as well, and that would be also a fresh match to give you another clue. Well, I did this for the men, I should also do it for the women. So we're going to have a women's battle royal as well. The winner could actually be going then for one of the women's championships, especially as they're not unified right now. But of course, we've got the likes of Queen Zelina involved with this, Charlotte Flair, the Queen of Hearts of Natalia, the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. I really want a Queen theme for this battle royal. I think that could be quite fun as well, playing with the royalty idea of being in the United Kingdom. Perhaps as well would actually come really handy, because the Queen's Crown tournament could be on the way in the next month, so that'd be really good for storytelling to build into going into that tournament. But you look as well at the other talents we've got involved there, a returning Bayley, returning Asuka, returning Alexa Bliss, all back at this point. Rhea Ripley will be part of Edge's group for me at this particular time. Naomi, of course, back on the singles chase. We've got Raquel Rodriguez, we've got Carmella, Nikki ASH as well, some Scott in there as well, just to give us that UK vibe once again. Sonya Deville seems to want to book herself to the top of everything, regardless of the fact she's meant to be, an authority figure. And of course, we've got the likes of Liv Morgan and Shotzi in there as well. So yeah, I mean, for me, this would be a great battle royal, and like I say, I really want that sort of Queen's theme going with this. Just to sort of try and play on that card. Charlotte Flair would seem to be the obvious favourite that would go on this, but I want to kind of build someone else up as well. I don't want to just kind of go with the same song and dance of what we've seen before. So for me, I personally would go with Liv Morgan to pick up the W, or if we can get rid of the Nikki ASH gimmick, and this is my fantasy booking video, bring back Nikki Cross, then give Cross the victory, and I think fans would really, really get on board with it. So yeah, switch it up. Nikki Cross would pick up the victory. Ditch the ASH, because it's just not working for me. One more match before we get towards the main event, because the Intercontinental Championship, of course, was very popular and was the main event of SummerSlam 92. So I want to have that sort of flavour once again, and I want to have a UK representative going for that championship. So the current champion is Ricochet. I'm having him go against Butch. Now, for me personally, Pete Dunne, Butch, whatever you want to call him, whatever WWE seems to call him, if he deserves a big match, a big moment on a UK show. You know that these two two would actually tear the roof off if they were given any sort of time whatsoever. So for me, this is a match that I would build together. I think WWE probably would go with Rich Holland in this position, but Butch for me is the more capable wrestler, and I think him versus Ricochet would be an outstanding match. So that's what I would book. And you know what? I'd book a new IC champion as well. I'd give Butch the W. Why not? Because I think him as IC champion, let him see him run with it. I think personally for me, he's actually really impressed me since being on SmackDown. Take the name away from things. He maximizes his time on camera with this sort of, you know, rabid sort of person, just wants to beat in and get his punches, and that being held back by Sheamus and Rich Holland every 5 seconds. So yeah, for me, Butch I think is really impressing, and I think he's great in ring, you know, so why not give him a run with the IC title? You know, Ricochet at that point would have held the belt since March, so that'd be a good 6-month reign. So, and I think these two, like I said, I think they would potentially could steal the show if it was given any length of time at all. Main event time then for you, and like I said, Roman Reigns is still your WWE Unified Universal Champion. He'll be defending that championship against who? You guessed it, that's right, Drew McIntyre. But I'm gonna do something again based off SummerSlam 1992, because, well, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, was challenging Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship. He was the challenger, by the way, Davey Boy Smith. Coming to the ring with him was boxing superstar and heavyweight Lennox Lewis. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the exact same for Drew McIntyre, who's going to come down to the ring with Tyson Fury, someone who's been involved with WWE previously. In fact, even took place on a Saudi Arabia event against Braun Strowman previously. Of course, Roman will have his wise man, Paul Heyman. Not exactly going to be a fisticuff on the floor with Fury and Heyman, but perhaps Heyman being squirmish and scared of the idea of Tyson Fury being around ringside could be quite fun indeed. But of course, Drew McIntyre, he's been away from the championship picture a long time. It's time for him to feel that he needs to get back where he deserves to be, which is the top of the card towards the main event. Like I say, at this point, he's been out of the championship scene for well over a year, and the idea of him and Tyson Fury in his corner as well, it just feels like that good moment there. You can really get that big fight feel, and also get that big, you know, send that UK, you know, crowd home happy with a brand new WWE Unified Universal Champion in Drew McIntyre. I think that'd be really cool, really fun to see. Probably have to do a few claymores to get there because Roman has been unstoppable, but Roman at this point, like I say, he is that unstoppable. It's time to build up the next person, the next champion, and for me, the right person to take the gold from him is none other than Drew McIntyre. So there you have it. That's how I would book the UK event, the first UK Premium Live event from WWE in 30 years. Let me know what you think of this card in the comments below, the fantasy booking as well. Would you like to see some of this stuff play out on WWE TV? Are you going to the show if you're in the UK? Are you registered? Are you looking to go? Let me know. It'd be fun to interact with what you'd like to see on that show. And of course, if you're a fantasy booker yourself, what matches would you book for this show? Of course, it's going to be a big time event. I would say probably 74,000 people in attendance, and with a crowd that size is waiting for a show this long, you know this is going to be a big time deal. If you have enjoyed this video, then please do like, share, and subscribe as well. Like I say, it's been a lot of fun to put this together, and while you're at it as well, if you have enjoyed it, do hit that beautiful notification bell as well. Set the setting to all, you know, each and every time a future video is released, whether it's a fantasy booking video, whether it's a prediction video, whether it's a Q&A. Of course, big part of this channel as well, having your voice heard. So like I say, if you've got something to say, let me know in the comments below right now. I cannot wait to interact with you. In the meantime, why not check out some of these videos on the side of your screen right now. Thank you for watching SCW as always. Take care, have yourselves a great day, and yeah, it's coming home finally after 30 years. Let's hope that you know, it's clearly getting the support this from a UK fan base. From me personally, I'm hoping this has become an annual thing where we get it September, this sort of time, every single year. Perhaps we even can get a SmackDown and a Raw attached to it, part of a UK tour. I think that'd be really exciting to see. But anyway, I'm babbling on now. I'm going to leave you here. Take care. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.